Welcome everybody, it's Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator. Bit of an unusual one again. Life's never boring, is it, when you're a painter and decorator? Now, you saw at the beginning of the video the finish that we're trying to achieve. We're using the Lumitex Flake spray product, and I thought I'd just show you briefly what it entails, what it involves, what you need for it. We don't want to make a big video out of this, because if you look over my shoulder just there, there's a link to where I did a job last year, and you can watch how it's all done there. But this is a quick one. Right, so Lumitex, what is it? It's flake. It's fine little pieces of paint, dried paint, and it gets sprayed onto a wall which has got a base adhesive onto it. You let it stick to all the surface, get as much on as you possibly can. You move in sections, do about a square metre at a time. So in effect, panel out what your wall is. If your wall's, I don't know, 5x4 or something like that, just do sections at a time and work your way along. It's quite simple. Do you know what? Even in the instructions it tells you how to do that. But I'm going to show you what I've got. You buy a kit. Kits are about 200 quid. What do you get in a kit? Well, you get in the kit, depending on which flake you go for. This is flake 427. That's the colouring, 427. You get a bag of flake, which you see there, and it's literally flake paint. It's brilliant stuff. I've actually been to the manufacturers up in Hull, seen how it's made. It's really interesting. So you've got a bag of flake. You've got your base adhesive. I'll call it adhesive because it's what the flake paint sticks to. So you've got your base coat. You apply that by a nice sheepskin roller. You put that on. Once you've done your square, your metre square, you spray your flake on using a specialist spray gun. And I've got this rigged up to a compressor, a 24 litre conventional compressor. Just connects there, so it's got quick, quick connections. Fill your container up. Get your pressure right. I'll probably spray, top of my head, it's roughly about 60 psi. But what you do is you fill your container up, get your compressor working, and then there's a knob on the top, and you screw it all the way down to shut the air off, because the air comes up there, through there, into the container, pressurises it and sprays it out. So what you do is you screw it all the way down, you start releasing the air pressure through, do it into the bag of flake, because what you're doing is regulating the air, and you open it out, let enough air through that at the end a nice stream of flake comes out. Once you've got that nice stream of flake sorted out by the air regulation there, you see that little nut there, you can screw that nut down and hold it in place. But depending on the thickness of your flake, depending on how fine your flake is, because different products, the glitters will all have a different weight ratio. You can't expect that it'll be the same airflow for every product that you use, but monitor it and test it at the start before you start spraying. Right, so that's that. We've talked about the flake, we sprayed it all out. You've seen at the beginning how it all gets sprayed over the walls. What do you do after that? Well, the next day when it's all dry, get yourself a stiff hand brush, something like this. Brush over all the surface, just to take any loose flake off the wall. That will all fall to the floor. Don't use that because it's been used. Once you've brushed all the wall down, then again, that comes in the kit, you've got your glaze lacquer or water based. Now it's good if you give it 2 coats of this. So do 1 coat, let it dry, and it dries quite quick. So you probably go around a room and then have your dinner and come back and give it another coat, or wait till next day. So you'll give it 2 coats of that, and that puts your glaze over the surface, that gives it a hard wearing protective surface. And that's it really. So without further ado, I'm going to get all this kit set up, and I'm going to start spraying again, so you'll see what I've done again from what I did at the beginning. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Because I've obviously cut and copied and pasted and things, so you can see what I've done before I've actually started. Right. Clever. It's all clever stuff. So see you in a bit. So here we are, just telling you what I've got, what we're using. This is the 24 litre compressor, oil free. See, oil free. It's from the Sprayman UK. Brilliant bit of kit. If you use a bit, if you do some UPVC spraying or anything like that, you need a conventional setup for spraying. This is a great bit of kit to use. I only use this for when I'm doing the Ilumitex flake spraying. Don't use any of my other spray equipment for it. This we've bought dedicated just for the Lumitex. Cost wise, I think about £700. You do get a gun with it as well and a hose, and when I mean gun, you get a conventional HVLP setup gravity feed gun with this as well. So not an expensive one, but it's quite handy if you just need little touching up jobs and bits and pieces like that. So that's what we are. This is quite simple to use. Turn it on the back, you can regulate your pressure. It tells you what your pressure pot is at the bottom. As I say, I'll keep it about 60, and then once you start using it off, it then builds up the pressure back to fill that up. So again, if you look over, I've got a link there to actually how this all works on a previous video from last year. So that's what I'm using. Brilliant. We've got a room in here that we're doing. You can see what just spin it all the way around. I've just put some tapes on the top edge of the skirting just to protect it, because when you're spraying this stuff and it picks up the adhesive base coat and it drops off the wall, it can sometimes stick to your skirting board. So what I've done, and experience shows, if you put a bit of tape around it, it protects the skirting board, low tack tape, because you don't want to pull any paint off. It doesn't then stick to your skirting boards, and you've then not got a load of cleaning down to do or anything like that. Now what we'll do, we'll work in a two-man team. We'll do a section there in a square. Can you just see that? Let's just get you on autofocus. We'll do a square there, work our way across, and work, well, in squares. We'll work in squares. We'll work in squares. So start over there, go all the way along. Now this was bare plaster. So what have we done to prepare that? You see me? Yeah. What have we done? We've obviously cleaned down all the walls, gave them a good sand. They've had a wash coat of bare plaster primer, and that was the Screwfix bare plaster primer. That was all done in there, all the way around, all through this job onto the new plaster. And then what we did was just give it a light nib down, and it had one coat of Tikkurila Optiva 5, which I know is a bit overkill, but it's a good base paint to put this Lumitex base adhesive on. So just one coat of Optiva 5, and then you go over it. Now Optiva 5 was done a few weeks ago, the woodwork's been done since. You're going to say, Phil, what have you done your woodworking? Well, it's been water based, and it's Jono's. It's the advanced gloss, you know, the hybrid. It's the one that's got a good gloss. You'll probably see in previous videos or links that I've got some videos talking about water-based gloss and which is the best one. So take a look at those and see what you think. Everybody's different. But no, so this is where we are. We're going to get started on here, and you'll see a bit of flake going on in a little while. So a bit of health and safety, because the flake paint could get in your eyes. It's always nice to have well, I've always got these on the van anyway, just clear perspex protection glasses, goggles, whatever you want to use. And I've always got in my pocket a mask. You know, can you remember when we needed masks for every day of our lives? Look at this. I think I've had it 2 years. Don't know, but it'll stop you just breathing any of the bits of flaking. There's no smell. There's no smell with this stuff, so you're not breathing in fumes, and there's no vapours, there's no overspray or anything. It's more of a case of the flake. You might just inhale them, depending on how you spray it. If you're spraying at the correct distance, you shouldn't really be affected on your face, but just in case you get a bit of a waft of wind or something like that and it goes in your eyes, goggles, and a COVID mask. Can you see me steaming up already? God, can you remember that? Oh dear, I don't want to go back to this ever again. let the old ones do the work. Right, I'm going to start flex spraying now. We brought it about half, because this isn't a big wall, brought it halfway across. Now when you come to do your flex spraying of the Ilumitex, don't go all the way to the edge, and you'll see off the video that I'm not going all the way to the edge, because once I've done that section and obliterated it with the flake, we can then join back up with a roller and cutting him back in. So yeah, let's fast forward this and you'll see me doing it. And that's how you do it. You obliterate the surface and keep going over it until you can't get any more on. You won't see it here because you're focused in on me, but that's obliterated the surface now. I can't get any more flake on. So we'll move on to the next walls, and I'll see you when I've done the whole room, and we'll do a pan round. So it's in my mouth, you need a mask on. There we have it. We've done this whole room. We're going to spin you around. It's not a good angle for me, is it, this, looking up at me? Let's bring you up a bit. Let's have a spin round. So we've done all this room, taped up round these. Can you just see it at the back of me? See the flex there? Coming all the way around. All the way around. And it's all there, top to bottom. Now all we've got to do tomorrow, I'm not going to show you that because it's boring, and you've seen that previous video that we linked to. You get a stiff hand brush, synthetic bristles fine. Yeah, sweeping up brush. Brush all over the walls, get all the loose pieces off, they fall to the floor. You bin those because you don't want those because they're all be small, they've been broken up. Don't want that. Once you've brushed it all down, then you can give it 2 coats of the lacquer varnish. Now, Lumitex do different varnishes for different environments. You can either have a matte finish, a satin, you can have a gloss, you can have a 2-pack finish if you need something hard wearing, but that's something you can discuss with your supplier for where you get the Lumitex from. So let's get a close up. You see it there? If you remember 30-40 years ago more, Portafleck, that was a similar sort of spray finish, but that was little droplets of oil paint suspended in like an emulsion paint so they didn't mix. I don't know how it worked. And then that used to be sprayed at about 45 psi, if that, through a conventional sprayer, and you had a special spray cap on your sprayer, and that used to hit the surface and then splatter. And that was Portafleck. Now this is similar, but it's not pieces of oily paint being splattered, it's dry flake, and your dry flakes in there. So leave me to it. If you like what I've just been telling you, you can ask some more questions. Don't forget, subscribe, press the like button, give us some comments. Have you used this? Would you be interested in using this? This isn't the only pattern, or I say pattern, colours that they do. There's multiple colours, different sheen levels. You've got metallics, you've got stuff that's UV reactive that a UV light picks up on, ideal for nightclubs. It's pearlescent stuff. The world's your oyster for your patterns and your colours and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll crack on with this over the next few days, get everything varnished up. But this is what it looks like, and it's pretty impressive. We like it.